Hello and welcome to the Black Dog Podcast 2, Episode 5. Episode 5.
Hey, Empire Strikes Back was episode 5, wasn't it? Yeah. No, yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Oh.
Who
All
thought
right.
this far?
Whose turn is it for the carbonite this week?
Well, you know, yeah, we're all getting old. Just freeze ourselves until someone works out exactly how we're going to get out of lockdown. I think I'll happily do it. Just put me in carbon and just be done with it. Anyway, hello everyone. Welcome to episode 5. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Elton.
And this week we will be just seeing how everyone's weeks got on. I don't know. I normally check before we start recording, and I've just realised I haven't asked anyone anything. So we'll find out how everyone's week's been or not been. And then after that, we'll move on to this week's movie, which is the Netflix film Code 8, which I think is safe to say none of us have seen.
Yes.
Yes, well, until at least now, anyway. So,
great shot cast otherwise. You've seen it.
yeah, none of us have seen. So make up your own mind, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
This is the Apathy Podcast. I really couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, watch your own fucking films. Make up your own mind. Goodbye. Yeah, so we'll see how everyone's week's been. We got a piece of feedback from a listener, not necessarily to any particular film, but you know, always good to get a bit of feedback. So we'll read a bit of that out, and and then we'll all wander on our merry way, trying to decipher precisely what our world leaders actually mean when they say "go out, but don't go out." But stay in, but don't stay in. But if you can stay in, do stay in. But if you can't stay in, go out. But if you go out, you talk to someone. As long as you're not talking to someone you know, you won't get fined. But if you do talk to someone you know, you will get fined, but only if you're not 2 meters apart. If you aren't 2 meters apart and you're sleeping in the garden, that's fine. But if you're in a garden that can't support it, that's not fine. So therefore, you got to stay in. But that means you can't go out. But you can go out for as long as you like, because as long as you're jogging, that's fine, unless you're lying in the park.
Can't see it unless it's your mistress.
Unless it's your mistress or your second holiday home, in which case it's all, forget it.
It's all fine.
It's all fine.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
Can't go to work, but if you can't go to work or something.
Yeah, or stay in, or go out. I don't know. But just don't talk to the police.
Maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, do it on Wednesday. Perhaps Thursday, or maybe next week. Or how does Tuesday sound? Oh, that sounds good. Maybe
But
next.
just remember, don't mention the event.
or the war. I think we mentioned it once. Might have got away with it. So anyway, that's our world. This is like a little time capsule for the future when we come back to this and go, day 79 million of the COVID lock-in. It's resurged again after 75 billion people got on the tube. So anyway,
Really?
yeah, how's everyone been? How's everyone's week? We did Jim last week starting, so we'll start with you this week, Elton. How's your week been, sir?
I have been dragged kicking and screaming by Amanda into the 21st century because we now have fiber.
Fiber optics.
Fiber optic
Oh,
internet.
I thought you were going to say you bought some breakfast cereal. Sorry, mate.
No, this is the point where my line breaks up now. I know it. It's going to happen. But yeah, with everyone being at home across the whole land and just surviving on internet, the little ants that bring our internet have suddenly worn themselves out. They're getting very thin, and I think enough was enough. And I came home one day and they went, "Yep, got fiber." I went, "Oh, okay. Is it quick?" And we all did a speed test, and oh my God, yes, it's quick. So we're living in the 21st century now.
Okay, and just to see, just on the off chance you get a little bit of a discount when the plug gets round, who are you going with?
I think we're with EE at the moment.
Okay, well there you go.
Yeah, our line before I think there were undiscovered tribes in South America in like a rainforest somewhere which had faster internet than I did in Great Yeldon. But now, no, blow their doors off.
Blow their fucking doors off.
Would those be the front or the back doors? I don't know.
Either
Well,
doors, preferably back.
So okay, I'm going to ask it. I mean, I know we don't overshare on this podcast. We keep everything nice and low key and not wrong.
Yeah.
But what was your first download?
What was my first download? I haven't downloaded anything really. It wasn't like a naughty film. Don't worry about that.
It was a naughty film, wasn't it? Don't lie.
Honestly, it wasn't.
We're all friends here.
I keep that for 4G.
Only when it was
cover my trails. I
Yeah.
can't keep it off of that. I just keep it on 4G and that's it. Just
Phantom browsing.
yeah.
please.
Incognito. Oh right, okay. So you see, you've not downloaded anything. So you got this super fast internet whizzy bang bollocks.
Yeah, everyone's happy, and I'm sat there going, "Well, I don't know what to do with it."
Yeah, I'm gonna do what? Yeah,
It's like that first day that I got internet as well. I was so confused about it. I didn't want it. And here I am now doing a podcast on the internet for the last 10 years.
yeah. Well, you know, I'm glad you finally caught up so that we can actually have these conversations, but not from Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Don't sound like was it the old was it oh god, Noel Edmonds when he used to at Christmas used to talk to people in Australia.
Oh yeah, and here's Pete and Sue in Australia.
Yeah.
Hello, Pete and Sue. Oh, why are we saying our own name? Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Why would Pete and Sue be saying hello, Pete and Sue? Unless it was like another Pete and Sue on the other end of the line.
Well, yeah. It was a confused time back in the 70s.
It was.
Confusing time for everyone. Yeah.
Sue's brother Pete and Pete's brother. No. Yeah, Pete. No. Oh, no. Car crash. Oh, jeez, hit the wall. Quick, bail, fire. Ah!
Pull out.
Too late.
Oh, shit. Anyway, so apart from that, what have you been doing? Anything else? Have you?
I was going to mention it, but I have started watching The Wire.
Oh right.
Yeah, I've been hearing lots about it for years and years and years, saying it's like the best TV ever. And I know it's made in like 2000 or 2002 or somewhere like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been looking for something else to watch, and just had it sitting there for a little while. I've also got Fringe sat there as well. I need to start on that, but decided on The Wire. About 5 episodes in, and I'm loving it. I know not much has happened. It's all pretty much set up for now, but it's just. I've tried this series 3 times before, and once was when it was like at midnight. They were showing every single episode at midnight. I was like, no, it's just too late for me. Just too late. And we didn't have like a recorder at the time, so I'm trying it now, and I'm enjoying it. It's really good. Some familiar faces from other shows that are cropping up. And I'm like, oh, okay. He started there. That's good. And he started there. So it's still developing. I'm still in the early days, still season 1, about 5 episodes in, but it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good.
Nice. Okay. Because every time I look at it, I just think, I can't be doing that again. I can't be getting into a massive series.
Yeah.
I had to watch that show with subtitles because everybody does this in it, right? Okay, they go, yeah, man, you feel me? It's like, I feel you. I could just about fucking hear you.
Oh, Darren, you're so middle class.
But it is. It's just they mumble. Everybody mumbles in it. It's like that fucking. It's as if the character from Dick Tracy, Mumbles Malone or whatever the fuck his name is, has written the script for it. This is and this I want you to say it like this. And there's Idris Elba going, "Are you really? You want me to say it? Yeah. I want you to say it at this level because this is realistic."
Thanks for
And
that.
so it's what was
Go on,
that?
carry on. It's all right. My Windows bloody things came back on. Thanks to the...
Oh, okay.
Go on, carry on.
So yeah, I had to watch it with subtitles when they put it on BBC Two, and they were showing, as Elton said, they were showing one a day. So we're sitting there trying to watch it, and we missed one episode, and that was it. We had to stop watching it.
You're out.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
We were really getting into it, and that we thought season 2 was a bit of a slow compared to season 1. Season 2 itself wasn't as good as season 1, but I never got to see any of the others. But yeah, Mubbles Malone wrote the script.
Excuse me, stewardess. I speak jive.
It was for every character, though. That's the thing. Doesn't matter which character was. They all mumbled. Ah, do you know? For a long time, I thought that's how Dominic West actually spoke. You feel me? Roses.
Motherfucker. Yeah. I have to say, I did get that sense when there was that video going around just showing that bit when Dominic West and his partner going around checking out a crime scene, and they just spend the whole of the scene just going, "What the fuck? Fuck
yeah."
I've just seen that. I've just seen that episode.
Yeah, and it's just like everyone's going, "Oh, it's so funny," and I'm just thinking, are they actually saying fuck or what? Because all I can hear is motherfucker. What the fuck? The fuck?
Subtitles, mate. Subtitles.
Is that the way? Yeah,
it's the way forward. But I'll tell you what, his mate, Dominic West's, the guy who plays his mate in that, he's one of my favourite characters in it.
Right.
He's really good.
Cool.
So yeah, there you go. Sorry, interrupted there. I'll just slide back on the rock.
It's all right, mate. I've got no fucking clue, to be honest. So I've only seen one scene that did the rounds on YouTube for a while. Everyone's going, "That's the funniest thing ever." But anyway, so you've done the Wire then, Elton. So how far into it are you?
Just 5 episodes at the moment. So,
right. Cool.
Yeah, it's got me though. So I'm going to stick it out for at least the end of this season, see how we go, and then possibly move on to season 2 when all the shops open up and I can go buy myself some DVDs.
Nice.
It's on Netflix, or it's either Netflix or Amazon for free.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you have to buy it.
No.
Yeah. I shall just check it out for you because I saw it pop up the other day. I thought that's where you were going to tell me you were watching it.
It is on Amazon, but no, you have to pay for it.
No,
it's an HBO show, isn't it?
Hold on. No. It's free, matey. It's free. Hold on. Anyway, carry on. Yes. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes, go on. Man with keyboard shows off keyboard by looking things up. Yes,
that's right.
Cool. Okay. Well, anything else, Elton, or shall we move on to Jim?
No, move on.
Okay. Well, then, Jim of the new shoes. How are you, sir? How?
The new shoes, and I had the first walk out with just a shirt on.
Good Lord.
Changed. Today, so that was that. That's summer over with.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Done.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been the same old, really. Been having a bit of a giallo season of watching a lot of giallos I've not seen for a while. And tracking down some I've never seen. I've only got on my to-watch pile one called Death Laden Egg.
Death Laden Egg? Oh, God.
Giallos always have these bizarre titles, often with an animal in. So you've got we've done 4 Flies on Grey Velvet, which has a Contention Makepeace as a 70s prog rocker being taunted by a stalker. That's really good.
Right.
Black Belly and the Tarantula, Cat o' Nine Tails. These are all classics by Argento. People caught on to this having an animal in the title, and so someone did one called Death Lays an Egg, and apparently it's set on a high-tech chicken farm. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Sounds intriguing. It's not a sequel to Tromer's Poultry Goose, is it?
Oh no, this is way before Poultry Goose, and it looked far better.
Probably.
Like for a start off.
Yeah. Watching all this Jallo, surely that's doing no. Ooh, whatever that was, don't do that again. Whoever that was.
It wasn't me.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to say that can't be good for your TV's color contrast. Watching all this Jallo.
It depends. The Argento and the Bart are very colourful, but other ones, say like by Serge Martino, tend to be sort of quite down key.
Oh right.
Because there's a little big range. Because Giallo does in thriller just means thriller, basically.
Right.
Era of Italian thrillers, and so some of them can be quite gothic and almost pop arty, and like very very colourful with a lot of prog. Where others can be really kind of more sort of like downbeat and washed out and grainy and seedy and others just plain bonkers. Which I'm guessing Death Laid an Egg is in that category.
Well,
challenge the thing of corruption, and there's kind of something. There's usually a glamorous location, where it's a modelling agency or a ballet school or a rock band. So a high-tech chicken farm is someone kind of not quite nailing the concept, I feel.
Yeah. Let's have a horror or a thriller. Where can we set it? Well, how about high-powered finance? How about behind the scenes at a rock concert? Well, not feeling. I want to get out in the country. Okay, well, how about a cabin in the woods? No. I know. Bernard Matthews Turkey Farm. Brilliant. Let's do that. We can't get Bernard Matthews. Okay, fine. Make it just a generic chicken farm. We're sorted. Nice. And Jim has vanished.
I think he
No, I'm still here.
Oh, right. Okay, sorry. Anyway, so right. Well, we'll look forward to the high tech chicken farm.
Late.
Yeah, we'll look forward to that next week, I guess. Anything else, sir?
I'll leave it at that.
Oh, right. Okay. I don't think you can really top the high tech chicken farm thriller Jallo horror film. I think the whole podcast can only go downhill from here. I'm almost tempted to try a competition as to try and work out exactly what the plot would be, but we'll see what happens.
These are dangerous days.
Dangerous days, yes.
Crazy days, man.
Well, you can't even go on a chicken farm.
No.
All right, then. Well, let's move on to Mr. Barnard then. So, how about you, sir? How's your
well, I think I came to a stark realization this week. To begin with, well, actually, I had it today. Being a lover of post-apocalyptic fiction, and thinking to myself, what would happen if society had a bit of a problem? A bit of a wibble, what have you? And I imagined like doing dangerous things like fighting zombies and stuff like that. Do you know what the most dangerous thing I've done during this whole lockdown has been?
Go on.
I put 2 different flavors of Crave in the same fucking bowl. That's it.
Jesus, man, that's right on the edge.
That's it. I'm living literally on the. I'm teetering now. I've got my arms out. Look, see, I'm balancing.
Were they flavoured shit and dog shit?
No, it was hazelnut shit and milk chocolate shit.
Right.
So I had them in the same bowl. Unfortunately, nothing exciting happened. Like the universe didn't implode or anything like that. Because that would have been something.
So 2 chocolate flavoured.
Yeah, 2 slightly different chocolate flavors. Ever so slightly. Yep. Right. So Ferrero Rocher and Cadbury's Dairy Milk. There you go.
I would hesitate to say that they are practically the same, and the only difference is probably the smell of peanuts that come out of one box.
Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah. But there you
Right.
go. Anyway,
And-
moving. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, and that's the most exciting thing that's happened to you this week.
No, that's the most exciting thing that, the most dangerous thing I've done during the lockdown, during the
I
apocalypse.
get the feeling that you've come into money because you are so middle class this week.
Aren't I just?
Yeah.
I've always been middle class, Elton. I've never been one to mix with the peasants. As I call everybody, that's how I refer to everyone I work, that's in the office. It's like, I'm not going there. What, with those peasants? So,
I'm not with the proles, dirty
Yeah,
proles.
not with the pros. What? 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 With the help, you mean? What, with them?
Not while I can sit on here on my balcony and eat my 2 types of crave that I just happen to have in my...
Exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe I'll put a third type in there.
But I'm going to follow this passing goose.
Yes.
I'm going to follow this path use and see where it leads me. Fuck you, people. I'm off. Nice.
As long as I keep 2 meters away from it, we're fine. But
Not unless you know it.
Sorry, go on.
Well, only if you know it. If you don't know it, you're fine. You can get closer.
Yeah, if it's
Can
a
I?
member of your family, then it's fine.
Yeah.
But if it,
Or nanny.
Yeah.
yeah,
Your au pair. If your goose is your au pair, then you'll be fine, Dal.
uh-huh.
You can play tennis with it. That'll suit into your new lifestyle, won't it?
Yeah, that will. Yes, yeah.
Or
No,
croquet.
it'll be squash actually.
Do you find
Lacrosse. There we go.
do you find yourself slightly perturbed by the fact that there's not a good quality Waitrose around your area?
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah. We don't even have Morrison around here. We have the co-op. What? You want me to go into the co-op?
Co-op. Next to
Co-op.
yeah. Good job I got some hand sanitizer. I have to go to the co-op.
Yes. Next, you'll be expecting me to buy some fair trade biscuits or something. What's all that about?
God damn, I go into some kind of fit whenever I see something blue and white striped. Oh, good lord.
I
Good
went into
Lord.
the shop for some lemonade and they didn't have any R-whites.
No.
They only had roller cola and panda pop.
What is this panda pop?
Roller cola.
Hetty, the world has gone to shit. Please, come on. Why I can't get that quality Tizer anywhere.
But there you go. Anyway, what I've actually done this week.
Yeah.
Okay. I tried one new video game out. I thought, you know what? Because I really normally don't like multiplayer games, right? The one where you just get onto a server and there's like so many people on there and you play along with them. But I thought I'd
get a bunch of 12-year-olds telling you how they're going to do something rude to your mother.
Exactly. I think this just shows my age and the fact that deep down I know my time is running out. That I've got no patience for things, right? That don't give me instant gratification.
Mate, you never had patience for things when you were young.
Yeah, exactly. No patience at all. But it's even worse now. This week I installed DayZ on my Xbox because it was on Xbox Game Pass, right? So I'm not paying anything for it really. I'm just, I can just pick and choose it if I want to. So I thought, all right, we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. I looked at the introduction film, thought, oh, this looks interesting. All right, let's give it a go. Fired it up, went, yes, let's go for this. And it went, you are 49 in a queue of 49. And I sat there for 5 minutes, and then it went, you are 48 in a queue of 48. And that was when I just went, fuck this for a game of soldiers, uninstalled it, and just went back to my stuff I already had installed on the machine.
Right.
Didn't even get to play the thing. This is what, who wants to sit around all night waiting just to get in to a game? What fucking hell was the point of that?
I don't know.
So bollocks to it. Only to get fucking, shot in the head and then teabagged by Knobmaster 6969.
Death Lord! Exclamation mark XXX.
Yes, there you go. So nah, fuck that, screw that for a game of soldier. So that was my week in video games. So what I've actually done this week, something productive. I did cooking this week, so not exactly baking, but I made a soup. And I don't mean that for fucking can before you say something. I actually made a soup from scratch.
It took the tin opener and
No,
co-op.
fuck off. No, none of that at all. I
Put
made
the
the
hands
stock
in the
for it. No, I made a carrot and sweet potato soup, and it was fucking gorgeous.
Oh my god, what is it with? Have you got some kind of bowel trouble? I mean, what's going on with this? This
carrot and sweet potato?
Yeah,
it was really nice. It wasn't one of those you would think it would help you clear out the tubes, but it didn't.
Well, between that and banana cake last week?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you're literally trying everything but buy the laxatives at this point.
Well, you got to have roughage, man. You got to have roughage, especially at my age. You know, that's it. Because that's the only thing that's shifting gear. Is that?
I get a sneaking suspicion that at some point this podcast is going to end, and it's going to be because we were infected with coronavirus.
Probably.
Because we're in that age range now. Where
we are. We're in the danger zone now. We are Kenny Loggins. We are danger zone.
Or someone broke a hip.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I broke my hip. I can't get up again. Help me.
He was found dead at the bottom of his Stena stair lift.
No, his Stena stair lift was just on loop. So he was just going up and down with this grimacing corpse up there because he touched the loose wire in the electrics as he sat down in the chair.
Yeah, he was on the circle line of Stena stair lifts. Yep. He just never got off.
That was it. So there you go.
Nice.
So there was that. So this cooking, very successful, much more successful than the time slowing muffins that I did the week before. Yep. So none of that.
No.
The other thing that did this week, me and Ree tried our hand at hairdressing. Okay.
Right. Okay. I need to just get this very, very clear before you go any further.
Yeah.
You let someone cut your hair.
This is how much I love this woman. I actually let her, let alone, before we get to the cutting, let's talk about the touching. Okay.
Well, okay. Let's not remind everyone how much of a narcissist you are. Let's just get us to the point that you actually let someone.
Yes,
cut
I did. Yes.
I'm so proud.
Thank you. It's almost like curing shy cock. It's going for a wee in front of everyone. It's like that. I felt reborn.
Wow.
And
I never.
She kept on. She goes, "Go on, let me cut your hair. Go on, let me cut your hair." So I finally let her do it, and I'll tell you what. Even she would admit it could have turned out a lot worse, but it didn't. She was really, really good at it. So
that's not saying it turned out good though.
No. This is a tenner I've saved every month now. So there we go.
Oh God. Okay.
So I could be going to. She gets more skillful, and learns how to do a fade and stuff like this. This is all gonna, writing stuff in the hair as well. That sort of thing. Like thug life, that kind of thing. Or podcast life. Yeah.
Pod life.
Yeah. I actually sorted out her hair as well. I did colouring for it. And I got that right as well. Yeah. Everything turned out okay. So I think we've probably both used up our karma points for this week. So next time it happens, there'll just be like hair on fire and stuff like this. It'll just be,
Yeah, I was going to say next time she does it for you, you're going to look like Telly Savalas in a polishing machine.
Yeah, who loves you, baby? Yeah. You watch. There'll be people sort of like just. Sticking their fingers up your nose thinking I'm a bowling ball. That's what they'll be doing. It'll just be a knee-jerk reaction. You know,
there'll be parents taking their children away from you. Don't look, child. Don't look.
Brian Cox will be showing up and he'll be going, "This is the parabolic mirror we've put in the Hubble telescope. As you can see, it is very parabolic and it is very shiny."
The universe is full of stars, and if you look on the top of Darren's head, you can see pretty much all of them on a clear night.
All of creation is reflected here.
In his spotty dome.
Aye.
Right between the two badly shaved bits of tufty hair that he tried to wax down as a comb over.
Well, like I say, yeah, the karma point's probably used up. If I'm looking like Keith Flint from The Prodigy next time you see me, you'll know what's happened, all right? I'll tell you, one sneeze, that's all it takes, mate. One sneeze.
Nice.
But, one other thing from this that I forgot to mention last week. We did actually watch the film The Underwater.
Oh, yes.
So we did manage to catch that and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
The one that's starring not Cthulhu.
Yes.
Yeah. Very not Cthulhu. Very because he's one up on Cthulhu, this one, isn't he? Because he's got a mouth over the tentacles.
He's Cthulhu plus.
He is.
Yeah.
Look at me. Look. Yeah. Look. See, I'm not trying to do a bad impression of Bill Nye from Pirates of the Caribbean. Look, I've got my own game going on. Look.
And what did you think of it?
Yeah, it was all right. You know, it was okay. The bad guy was suitably big in it. You know, there were some moments in there as well. It wasn't a terrible film at all. It's one of them, ones you find by accident that you watch and think, you know what, that wasn't a total waste of an afternoon at all. That was okay. I feel sufficiently entertained after watching that.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, it's all right. Cool.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Lovely. Right. Well, in which case, moving on to my week, go for the very quick one. I've finished Spider-Man. I've completely finished everything. I've got all his costumes. I've got all the power-ups. I've got all the achievements. I've got everything. All done. I even unlocked the super secret Ooby-Dooby, can't find it for love nor money, Into the Spider-Verse costume. Done it all. Done the fucking lot. So, yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. The irony being that it gives you the Into the Spider-Verse costume and you have actually finished the game. So the only way you can use it is by playing New Game Plus, which is got a whole bunch of new achievements that I have to do, and you have to play it on ultimate level, which is really, really fucking hard. So that'll be my next challenge when I'm feeling particularly sadistic. Because by the end of it, I was going, "You fucker!" with every single battle I was in.
Wow.
No, it's not that it's that bad. It's just that a lot of the game starts to go, well, you can complete the mission, but you can complete the mission with a couple of extra points if you did this, and this, do 100 hit combo and all this kind of stuff. And what happens is, and I was speaking to our friend Jess about this the other day, I get obsessed with trying to get to completely rinse a game.
Yeah.
So if it says that you haven't done something and I've completed it, I still have to go back and do that bit, and so every tiny little thing I have to do that bit. So it got to the point where I'm like literally crying as I'm like beating the fuck out of like 99 bad guys, and then one of them who's just spawned on a building across the way from me shoots me with a lucky shot because I stood still for a second. And he's just like, I've lost the fucking combo. Ah! And it was that kind of thing. I could have just sensibly just walked away from the game at that point and gone, yeah, I've done that mission. But I was like, no,
didn't.
But I didn't. No. So yeah, I have got cracked enamel in my teeth. that. So yeah, so now I'm playing. I've just started Horizon Zero Dawn.
I was tempted to get that.
Oh, right.
Yes, which is beautiful. It's a beautiful game. It has the same narrative problems I had with the Time Machine last week, which is it's set into this humongously far-flung future, so far off into the distance, it's just not even close to being where we are now. And some cataclysm happened thousands of years ago or hundreds of years ago, and essentially there's an AI or a technological virus which is basically creating evolved creatures, but essentially machines. So you've got machines which look like cats, and machines which look like giraffes, and machines and they're starting to get bigger and bigger and meaner, and they're starting to evolve. And you are and the human race has basically devolved back to sort of like that Native American kind of, everything you see is sort of like a gift from the All Mother, including digital watches, an ancient one's toothpick, which is actually a Swiss Army knife, and that kind of. Yet
Right.
you find bits of technology which, if the hero who's called Aloy, not Alloy, Aloy. See where this is going?
Right.
She's got a little technological thing that she's found in a cave, and she sticks it to the side of her head, and it sort of creates like this sort of learning tool that's kind of telling her all this stuff. And so it's really interesting. The problem I have with it right now is it's one of those games where it kind of goes, see this tiny little map? This map that you've been running around for like nearly 8.5 hours, and you've got, maybe one or two different types of beasties, and you're fighting them, and it goes, right, well, you've done the trials and you're ready to move to the real world. And you go, I've been playing for 8.5 hours, and that was effectively the tutorial. And then the game just goes and gives you a map that's literally, you just go, I don't know anymore.
Wow.
and then you run into a merchant, and the merchant sells you maps for 1 billion collectible things, like ancient receptacles, which are actually just coffee cups and things like that. And you're like, oh my god! And you're sort of hunting through ruins for Starbucks mugs and shit like this, and it's just like, what the fuck am I doing? Meanwhile being attacked by a saber-toothed tiger made out of steel and pipes and electric lightning rods, and that's about 12 foot long, and just like takes your head off with a single blow. And it's really interesting. I'm warming up to it. I think it's another one of those games that you just sort of have to warm up to how it actually plays. But
is it more of a RPG than like a single person thing?
It is a single player game, but it is a role playing game. It is one of these games where you won't get a multiplayer experience of people suddenly going, oh yes, it's more like, it's probably closer to something like Tomb Raider or Uncharted or Last of Us.
Okay.
Where or Red Dead Redemption, that sort of thing, where you've got this huge, great big open map and shit happens in it, and you can either stumble across that shit, or you can just carry on the story missions, or you can find people who will give you errands and their little side quests that you go off and do.
Yeah, so I was tempted with that a little while ago. I saw it in CEX for, I think, like 16 quid.
Yeah, it's just come out on the PlayStation Hits thing for download for about 12 quid.
Right.
So, for 12 quid, it's a bloody good game. There's no two ways about that. It is one of those games that if you like that kind of just open world exploring, you against the elements kind of thing with a story mission, then it is for you. Like the newer Tomb Raider games, or like I say, or like Last of Us. When the world does open up, you're just like, fuck, I just give me a second, because I've just realized how big what sort of world I've just stepped into. And yeah, there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of times where the game kind of helpfully says, you do know you can turn the difficulty down just to focus on the story, and you're like, no, I'm going to carry on. Honest, as you're hiding in a bush and a sort of 60-foot steel metal T-Rex stomps over your head, and you're kind of like, don't move, and it's kind of looking around going, whoa, whoa, and you're like, oh fucking hell, it's looking at me. And there's a lot of that, because you can kill some of these things really easy, but there's a lot of creatures which need to be taken down in a specific way, and you need to scan them and analyze them and work out what's weak about them and that sort of thing. And yeah, Anyway, it's worth a look if you've got a PlayStation 4 and you haven't got this game. I think you might be missing out. This and Spider-Man have both been literally system sellers for me. I've just looked at the both of them and just gone, I've got it, because you can literally go into photo mode and it takes all the heads-up display away, so you can just have like a nice wallpaper of like this setting sun over a mountain and all this kind of thing. You just go, oh, it's beautiful. So yeah, so it's really nice looking game as well. Really nice looking game. One thing I can't get over though is that they've got a lot of stock character models, and one of them, for one of the characters, and if you want to look this up, you can. It's not a spoiler, but there's a character called Olin, Olin, and I swear to God, he looks just like Rob Spry.
What's his name? Olin.
Olin, yeah. If you look up Olin. Rob Spry, by the way, for those of you who don't know, we in the old Black Dog we refer to him as Rob the Chief. He is now also my work boss. But there you go. Yes, Olin. Just look up Olin Horizon Zero Dawn, and it's just like it's so distracting. It's so distracting when you run it.
Oh my good lord! I see what you mean.
So that's quite
images.
Yeah.
Oh, good lord! Does he talk like Rob?
No, he doesn't. Unfortunately, he doesn't. No. Otherwise, I would mock Rob mercilessly at work. But anyway, so there you go. Otherwise, what else have I done? I've realised that I'm becoming really decrepit and old. I've had to come to terms with that because I did something this week, following on from last week's sit-down revelation. I've now found out that to read my phone, which I do at night, I now have to put on 2 pairs of glasses, one over the top of the other.
No.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you see old people do that. Rather than look for the actual pair of reading glasses, I now get 2 pairs of weaker glasses, just stick them over the top of each other and just go, oh yeah, look, that's lovely.
Can I ask, right? If you had a third pair to it, can you give me next week's lottery numbers?
If I had a third pair to it, I'll be actually able to sort of like discover the Higgs boson. I think. I'm literally getting to the point where I can't go out in strong sunlight, otherwise I'll laser through the back of my head. So that's fun. And the last thing was I watched an Amazon series which has just started. I finished Community, and God, that series shit the bed in the last season. I didn't realize quite how badly, but it really did. But no, I watched Upload.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of this?
Yeah, isn't it supposed to be a comedy show or something?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a comedy show.
Oh, right.
It's basically it's like The Good Place. Yeah.
Okay.
But written by someone who's clearly on the verge of a manic depressive breakdown. Because essentially what it is a guy who is that you're in the far future, and everyone gets the option when they're about to die to do one of 2 things: 1, die, or 2, if you've got the money, upload. And what Upload does is basically digitizes your consciousness in quite an amusing way. I won't spoil it for you, but there is a moment where you suddenly see someone digitizing and it's just quite a laugh. And it uploads your consciousness and uploads it to a consciousness area that you can afford. Let's put it that way. And this main character, who's played by, funny enough, Robert Amell, who's
right, okay,
this week's film, and he's inventing a free version of this uploaded software, and then he dies in suspicious circumstances, but not before he finds himself in a relationship with a really clingy, sort of upwardly mobile lady, who is like sort of seriously, how can I put this? she's seriously super rich and super entitled. She's a proper Instagram model sort of thing. It's all about me and me and me and me and me. But because her family's super rich, she's basically entitled to upload to the best place on the in this sort of digital heaven. So this guy, when he dies, he's about to sort of basically quit with her and leave her, and then basically gets into this mysterious car accident in a Google car. And next thing you know, she's uploading him on her credit card to this super duper whizzy bang heaven. And,
right.
And so now he's now at her mercy, essentially, because she's still alive and can still see him in the digital world. And essentially, he doesn't really want to be with her, but every time he sort of starts to criticize her or anything, she kind of goes, I don't even know why I'm keeping you around on my credit card list, and this is how much it costs to keep you alive, and all this sort of thing. So there's this kind of constant blackmail. And then on top of that, whoever gets uploaded gets what they call an angel, which is sort of like a technical support caller who can digitally come in and look after you and stop you from going crazy. And predictably, it's a rather attractive young lady who sees the man for who he really is, and you can see where that's going. Oh, and he also has a support pet, a mental health support pet, which is actually a psychiatrist in talking through the body of a Labrador, which is a little bit. The humor is kind of, moments of it are really good, and you kind of laugh, and in other moments you're just sitting there going, God, this is so depressing. It's so depressing. Because the future that they imagine is kind of not quite Black Mirror levels of bleak, but it is taking everything that exists right now and going just that one step further. So, like, for example, with Tinder, for example, they've got this thing called Nightly, where people can just basically phone up and just go, fancy a shag? Yes, I do. And then all of a sudden you see this couple basically about to have sex, and they go, okay, have you got protection? And they go, yes, yeah, I've got protection. They both pull out this thing, and you think, oh, it's like some futuristic condom or something. And what it is actually a camera that they put on their chests, and they both look into each other's cameras and go, I consent to having sex with this person. And the other one goes, yeah, I consent to having sex with this person. And then it goes, bing bong, consent has been acknowledged. It's just like, then they have sex. And then they have to give each other 5-star ratings. And there's bits of it where you kind of go, oh, this is quite clever, and this is quite cute and quite interesting and quite Black Mirror without the sort of manic depressiveness. And then other bits of it are just so starkly dark. You just go, oh man, I just don't know if I can watch the rest of this. This is driving me up the fucking wall.
And this is Upload.
Yes. Yeah.
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 Right. Okay.
It's interesting. It's worth a look, but it plays itself quite whimsically. But by about the third episode, you're sitting there going, God, this is hell. This is genuine hell. Hell on earth. Yeah. And there's this conspiracy theory that the guy may or may not have been killed to stop him from releasing a free version.
Oh, right. Okay.
And, and just to really, rub that in, the person who kind of drops the idea into his mind that he may have been killed just happens to be the guy who plays a cigarette smoking man in X-Files. He literally just wanders in, he's putting his shoes on, and he just goes, you probably were killed. And the guy goes, why would I have been killed? And he goes, takes a cigarette and then basically fucks off into a door, and you never see him again. He never comes back again. It's literally just the writers went, that'll be a good little conspiracy. There you go. So much so we'll have one of the cast of the X-Files turn up and drop the conspiracy bomb. It's like, what? So, yeah.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah, so that's that. So that's Upload. What else have I done? I think that's about it, really. Can't think of anything else anyway. So before we move on to our review, as I said before in other episodes, if anyone's thought of anything or anyone's got anything they want to say or send us in an email, we'll cover it in a bit of a feedback section between our week and the review. And this week, well, actually last week, we got an email, and I went to read it last week and didn't, so I apologise for that. But it's from a listener called Keith Sims. Now, Keith Sims sent us a letter actually when the podcast ended last time, to say some kind words about the podcast when it ended. Obviously, we weren't around for that to read that out, so that was just a really nice letter. But anyway, we've come back, and so he's wrote a letter again, and I'll read it out like so. And Keith says, "Oh well, the title is OMFG. My all-time favorite podcast is back." Oh shucks!
Oh, flattery will get you everywhere. It really will.
It will certainly get you on this podcast. I'll tell you that for nothing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he said, and I'm going to maybe paraphrase it here and there, just because just reading it through. He goes, "Sorry, but this is going to be a bit rambly. I was a very early adopter and a keen podcast listener for many, many years. After searching the movie reviews a few years back, I stumbled over or stepped in a steaming pile of Black Dog. See, now you see, he wrong foots you there. You think, oh God, he's going to have a go." He goes, "It was fitting it was the Black Dog as it's a well-known mental health mascot. See the Black Dog Institute. And yes, for those, just to sidestep again, for those of you who don't know and who come into this for the first time, the Black Dog was named after the fact that Winston Churchill used to refer to his depression and getting away from things to go build a brick wall as taking the Black Dog for a walk. So there you go. Anyway, so Keith continues. I was born in the UK in 1974 and grew up on Sooty, Basil Brush, Doctor Who, Benny Hill, Honey Smacks until my family emigrated to Australia in 74. I joined the New South Wales Police Force in 94 and served until I was diagnosed with PTSD and major depression in 2018. It was around this time I discovered the boys from the Black Dog. Whilst off work and in and out of hospital, you guys kept me together and made me smile. So firstly, I would like to say thanks for getting me through those very dodgy times. I'm a mad keen horror fan and man-keen movie fan. Sorry, I went down a line. And own over 4,000 DVDs and Blu-rays. I love movie reviews and movie review shows. Well, the problem? Well, my favorite genre is horror, and I just want to say a big thank you for introducing me to the Borderlands. He said Badlands, but it was the Borderlands. I couldn't find it on streaming after your spoiler-filled cast, but I had a Blu-ray copy sent over from Germany. Now it's one of my all-time favourites and the best use of found footage that I've ever seen. By the way, just in case anyone wants to know, the Borderlands review is still up on our stream. And on top of that, it's now come onto Amazon Prime. There you go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just appeared on Amazon Prime. So it's one of my all-time favourite uses of found footage I've ever seen. Without you guys, I may never have found it, so thanks again for that. I've been off work now for nearly 2 years, 1 year officially retired, and I'm slowly getting back to being a normal person with some professional help, which is really good to hear. Since the pandemic, I've been stuck at home, which I've already been doing for 2 years, so that's not a big deal. I've been desperate for a new podcast content and was so happy to have you guys back in my ear holes. Well, we like coming in your ears. Oh, hold on. Hang on. No. Let me run that again. Anyway, he continues. I found out about the reboot because I never deleted the Black Dog podcast from my phone. If you ever needed some great, creepy, weird recommendations, or if you just want a housebound Aussie mental cases of fifth wheel, I've always wanted to get involved in movie reviewing. Well, I tell you what, as I always say to everyone else, if you got movie reviews in you, man, just make your podcast. You can do it. Jim's done it. Elton did it. I've done it. If we can do it, anyone can do it. No,
you actually didn't mention me.
Well,
I've done nothing.
Frankly, you just turned up and eat me pizza and drink me beer on most weeks. But, now with lockdown, it's cheaper.
It is, yes.
Yeah. Anywho, I just wanted to... if Darren can plug in a microphone, anyone can do it. There you go.
Indeed, yes. I can switch on a computer.
Hey, there you go. Anywho, he continues. I just wanted to say thanks and keep up the good work. And for fuck's sake, keep going. Oh, that looks likely. And I'm not a big social media user commenter, and I've never commented on any shows before, so consider yourselves very privileged. We do. I did actually have my first trip to the home country planned for June, and I was going to offer you guys an all-expenses paid trip to the Boozer, but lockdown has fucked that up big time. Damn you,
Goddamn coronavirus.
Free beer.
Fucking air free beer. Oh.
Anyway, so he concludes, sorry if I rambled on, but, mental illness, drugs, maybe a beer or two. Yeah, well, it happens to all of us. That's how we podcast. Thanks for keeping me amused and alive. Keith, Manic Cop Sims. So, well, thank you, Keith, and thank you for saving us having to say Manic Cop, or Maniac Cop, sorry. Maniac Cop without feeling like, oh, God, we might have overstepped a boundary. But anyway, so that's cool. So thank you very much. Yeah, he did write in later on to give us a recommendation for a couple of horror films, which, one isn't available at the moment on streaming, and the other one is on the docket for when we come round to it, I think. So thank you for that, Keith, and keep listening. And like I say, if anybody else has got any feedback, anything they want to write in, just send it in, feedback@blackdogpodcast.com. Or if you just go to the Black Dog Podcast website, which is blackdogpodcast.com, just use the Contact Us page and just click a message through that way. We'll get it, and, it'll get read out over here. So thanks again, Keith. And, that's that. So... That's right. No more further ado. I think it's time to hit the funky jingle button, go get ourselves a cup of tea and whatnot. And then we will be back to review the Mystery Monocle movie. Yes, we can pull out the Mystery Monocle jingle.
Ha-ha.
The Mystery Monocle movie, Code 8. So, roll the jingle.
Ooh, we're watching a new movie we've never seen before. I'm buttering my nipples and waxing my ass. Roll up the Mystery Monocle film. Roll up for the Mystery Monocle film. Roll up
masturbation
for the Mystery Monocle film. Roll up
some lubrication
for the Mystery Monocle film. The Mystery Monocle film is waiting for us to hit play. Going to watch it today, what will we say? Hey Pablo, I need a heroin needle and a watermelon.
Right, okay, so Mystery Monocle. Yes, small... Sorry, if I sound a little breathless, it's because we've had a little technical issue in the background, ladies and gentlemen. So any weird sounds that you may hear in the previous section, that's because it all went wonky and tits up. But there you go. Right. Anyway, here we are. Hello. Hello, everybody.
Breathe again. Breathe.
So we're going to review Code 8. Code 8 is a Canadian science fiction film released in 2019, written and directed by someone called Jeff Chan, about a man with superpowers who works with a group of criminals to raise money to help his sick mother. The film is a feature-length version of a 2016 short film of the same name, which you can look up, and it is on Vimeo. The film stars... it stars Robbie Amell and Stephen Amell. Stephen Amell, you guys may recognize more as Arrow, Green Arrow, Oliver Queen from the TV show.
Yeah.
And Robbie, I think, is also in it. But he is in Upload. There you go. See how this all comes around in a big circle? We don't just throw this show together. I don't recognise anyone else who's in it, to be honest, but I know that most of them have been on telly.
I know that the guy the Asian guy who plays police officer, he is a regular in the Fast and Furious series of films. Han, he plays.
That's about it, really. I don't know. I mean, the only other thing I know about this thing... was we have a box office amount, but we don't have a budget. But what we do have is we have Indiegogo was used to fundraise it, and basically it was a short film that was also produced by Robbie Amell and Stephen Amell and the director Jeff Chan. So this is definitely one of those kind of short film, get it off the ground, sort of grassroots, talk to the fandom kind of affairs. And it raised on Indiegogo $3.4 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, I have found a number now. And guess how much it made at the box office, Jim?
8 million.
Okay, Darren.
I didn't even realise it got to the box office. I thought it was just a straight to Netflix thing, but I don't know, 10 million.
Okay. And Elton.
Fuck all.
Funny enough, you are closest. It made $150,000.
Oh,
Good.
wow.
I think we know where we're going with this one.
Oh, yeah, I think I'm hedging a bet.
I'm hedging a bet. Yeah. Anyone with a bingo card, please just take a number. And so let's go round. So just quickly, quick summation. What did everyone think about it? Now I'm going to go with Elton because I think I know what he's going to say. But there you go, Elton. What did you think of it?
It wasn't great, was it? Come on, let's all be honest. It wasn't great. It was. This is a well. No, I'll get into that later. It was. It was.
Okay.
Superheroes, isn't it? It's just okay. We need this person. Need this person. Need this person. Need this person, and all their quota of talents can work to help the day. I don't know. I don't know. It was just rubbish. I thought it was just bog standard Channel 5 crap.
Okay, Jim, what did you think of it?
Quite enjoyed it for what it was. It was basically a standard sort of crime story, but with just a soup song of kind of superpowers thrown in. We just put a different spin on it and added robots. I went in expecting absolutely nothing, knowing nothing about it. That's an interesting idea, and I think that they could have gone a lot further with it, but given the sort of project it was, they kept it small rather than going too big, which, to be honest, is a relief.
Okay.
Because, things, I don't know, if you've not got much money, keep it simple. That's all in low-budget filmmaking.
Right.
But I was sort of quite entertained. I didn't know what to expect from it. I knew the title, and that was it. And what Darren had told me last week, and we went into it and thought, all right, that's interesting, that's fun. And I like the robots and the drones.
Fair enough.
That was easy.
Okay, Darren, what did you think of it? Just quickly.
Yeah, I liked it. It actually was better than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
It's I like the world building they did at the beginning. It sort of like these things have been around for a while. Yeah, it kind of went there. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought the ending was all right as well. It could have gone completely cliche, but it didn't. It kind of took a little bit of a this isn't gonna go the happy ending route. We're gonna do this with it.
Okay.
Which I'm kind of glad it did because But there you go.
Okay. For what it's worth, my opinion is pardon me, he says, burping into the microphone. I thought the problem is I looked at it in two ways. One way, I looked at it as just an audience member, and I watched it, and I just thought interesting world building, but there wasn't an awful lot beyond going, that's a nice idea for a world. I just wish someone else had made a film in it. And the other way I was looking at it was from the point of view of my freelancing days, my effects freelancing days, where to make a small budget science fiction film, there's a couple of little things you should watch out for, and you can always tell when it's super small budget and things have gone really off-piste with the production, which is rather than show you the special effects, what they do, rather than show you any amazing special effects, what they do is they show you heads-up displays, right? This is a key thing, yeah? If you ever want to see if your science fiction film looks cheap, see how many expensive films look at things through heads-up displays, right? I think you could probably count them on about the hand, 4 fingers on a hand. You might get 1 or 2 scenes where you have to do through the display, like a RoboCop or something like that, because you're building up tension to show a character. But when you have, they're moving left on north on this and that and on this and they're going on here and there's like 20 bogies out here, and what you've really got is we haven't got the special effects or the budget for actual extras. So what we've done is we've gone up onto the roof of a building and just filmed down into a street and then spent half an hour putting some After Effects overlay over the top of it and then pretended that we actually filmed with lots of extras. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So if you went up into a tower block or wherever you worked, right, went to the top floor and just filmed Oxford Street, and then because you put an overlay over it with little boxes popping up over people, it looks like, oh yeah, we did. We locked off Oxford Street and we filmed it, but because you can't see anyone's faces, you don't have to get them to sign rights waivers. And so you can
It could be anyone.
It could be anyone. So you can have a cast of millions filmed in a massive, overpopulated zone. And yeah, look, we filmed in this city. Look, it's amazing. Look at our budget. But what you
do you know what?
Yeah.
Well, I actually, talking about budget, I actually turned to Rhea and I said, "Are we sure this wasn't filmed at Canary Wharf?"
Well, exactly.
'Cause that's what it looked like.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's your key marker for really low budget stuff, because you suddenly go, hang on, those robots look cool, but those robots only do one of 2 things. You see them land in formation on their knees, which means we filmed that animation, we've made that animation, all we've done is moved the CGI camera and repeated that animation over and over again, and then we got 2 guys in suits and helmets, and that's it. And that's the problem. And then everything else is the view from the drone, and occasionally 1 or 2 drone shots. So it was less like, to me, my brain was just going, this is cheap. This is so cheap. Look at it, cheap. It's so cheap. At some point, someone with a real budget would come along and make something out of this. But there you go. So that was the problem. I had my brain going, I wish someone else had made this, and then the other part of me was going, I know exactly how I made this, how someone like me made this.
You saying that, right? I had the thought all the way through this is, okay, it is the world building. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's working well, but it feels like someone had an idea for a series.
Can I stop you there? It actually is going to be a series.
Mm-hmm. Good work there, Elton.
Really?
It's a TV. They're going for a TV series on this one, apparently.
Okay. Well, okay. Let me go off on my thought then. Yeah, someone's had an idea for a series, and they haven't got the budget for it, and so they've crammed all their ideas into an 1.5 hour long film instead. And they've only just packed out the 1.5 hours.
There is that whole thing of it being exactly 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Well, let's get into it a bit, then. Let's get into it a bit because I know we're going to probably. Well, Elton. I can gather that Elton's going to rip it apart. Darren.
No, not good. I'll be good. I'll be good. Don't worry.
No. We haven't had a good sort of teeth in the neck kind of fucking ripping since this new series has started. No, but I was going to say, I mean, do you think, as far as the show goes, and this is to everyone, I mean, as far as the show, this film goes, I mean, you saying that it's going to be a TV series, Darren, and you, Elton.
Yeah, look, well, from what I know, they're looking, this was the idea that they had with it, do this, then TV show.
Well, and the fact that most of the actors are all TV actors. And
yeah, exactly. Stephen Amell's not doing anything at the moment.
No, he's not. But I was going to say, do you think that this film was just nothing but world building the movie?
I think so. I think it just gives you a taster of the actual situation there. I did like. I've got to say, I did like that how they showed you. It starts in the 50s. It didn't start 10 years ago. This has been going on for a while, and then they show you the film of the people on the construction sites using their powers to build the buildings and stuff like this. I did like that. So I think the world building was done very well in this. They took a leaf out of Watchmen and they did it all in the credits. So that's it.
But,
so it's just get that out of the way.
Okay, but I mean, but is that enough? I mean, someone's, and again, this is open to anyone. I mean, when you get people who criticize something like Blade Runner, and I remember back in the old Black Dog days, Colin what's his face giving it some. Well, Blade Runner is just world building the movie.
What?
No,
did he say that?
Yeah, he did years ago. I mean, this is way back in the day, and he was that was his criticism. It was world building the movie, and whether he's right or wrong or just plain deluded and needs to be taken outside and given a good stern talking to is neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, I was going to say was, do you think there was enough of the world building in this to support the, let's be honest, fairly generic heist movie, boy on the wrong side of the tracks falls in with the wrong crowd?
Well, you could ask the same about the Judge Dredd movie, right? If you know nothing about Judge Dredd and you just watch that film, was there enough world building in Judge Dredd? And look how much there is outside of that. You don't know what they're going to do with it.
No. But I mean that's that forgetting other films. I mean, Judge Dredd.
Oh, just using that as an example of it depends on where they're gonna take this next. That's the thing. It's like, what ideas do you have? You've got your part to play in now. So what do you do with this?
But it felt if their game is to get a series from this, then they are really leaving a lot of money on the table for the series. It's like they said, right, we could do this with this person here, but we won't, because we'll save that for episode 3 on season 1. And that's kind of shortchanging the person watching this movie. It's not there. It's there to get me excited. It should be like the pilot movie to get me really into this kind of world, but it's not enough. It's kind of watered down, and they're just saving all the good stuff for later on, and that's not fair on anyone.
Jim?
So you would have liked them to use all the good stuff within the first film.
Well, no.
If you're
saying, just instead of being a taster, maybe, or
if your franchise is strong enough, then you can use all your good stuff and then write some more really, really good stuff, because you'll bounce off the stuff you've already written.
How are you feeling about this, Jim? Because I mean, you're sitting out as the two combatants have a bit of a hoo-ha.
Thing is, for me, I see this as they thought, right, we've got this money to do this much. We will just tell a straightforward story. It doesn't have all the hallmarks for me of your typical pilot, of where it doesn't really. This is pretty much self-contained. And my who are the characters going to be? Are we? I mean, I suspect we might see Stephen Amell's character again, and the mysterious plastic-looking big boss of head of the trust. Possibly, maybe not. You know what I mean? Because the main guy, his story is sort of over and done with, and he's out, surely. And it's kind of, if it's a TV series, I can more see this as kind of having the same relationship as the Logan's Run film does, the Logan's Run TV series, where they sort of retool and rewrite things to set up an ongoing situation.
Yeah.
But in the film, Logan got out of the city, he found Sanctuary was a lie, and went back and destroyed society. In the TV series, none of that happened, and he's just endlessly searching for Sanctuary and never finding it. You know what I mean? So it didn't feel to me, it was kind of like a pilot. It just felt like, a little self-contained sort of sci-fi, sort of neo-noir almost. Yeah. But not quite. It's more like a typical crime drama. I mean, I felt there could have been more world building in it, but I don't think it actually really needed it to tell the story it had, and they were trying to keep it a low-level personal story rather than going big, because they didn't have the money for big.
Yeah.
That's the right move, I think when you're doing something low budget, as I said, you try and work out what you can afford to do, not what you'd like to do. Right around that. I mean, I think the actual fact people had powers, I thought it was interesting that it wasn't a big deal, and that, okay, character X, here's your time, do your show-stoppy thing, and, we have a third reel that's just all the special effects.
Yeah.
It's not cool to do. And it's more, I like the fact it kept it a little more personal. I mean, as I said, I went in with no expectations, and I was sort of, I was pleasantly entertained by it. I mean, I wouldn't be rushing out going, oh my God, this is an undiscovered gem, you must see, it's a classic, But at the same time, it's kind of, if you like this kind of thing, yeah, it's all right. It's got, a little different spin on things. It's not radical or different, but
no.
So I would be intrigued to see what the format of the series would be.
It's a bit like Underwater.
Yeah, there's a lot more you can do, certainly in this world, from a modest start. I mean, to go back to Dredd, the very first Dredd story was a very conventional, it's a copper in the future foiling a bank robbery.
Yeah.
There was very, very modest and, from small acorns.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. Whereas some things, it's like Logan's Run, all the ideas were in the film and there was nothing left for the series.
I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, looking at it from my perspective, and I sit somewhere between Elton and between Darren, because on the one hand, despite my cynicism, I didn't mind the film. It passed me by. I made a few notes, and frankly, if I hadn't made a few notes, I pretty much would have forgotten it by now. But it didn't offend me. It didn't make me go, death to all creatives. But similarly, I didn't come away. I did come away thinking, well, this is just a bloody waste of a good idea, because the idea of sort of doing that sort of halfway house between Heroes and Watchmen, and sort of like saying, well, and then trying, because it looked like at one point they were trying to make the superpowered people like in it being treated in the same way as to use an American sort of analogy, like the Mexican workers who come over the border, get a bit of cheap work, no regard for safety or labor laws, and they're basically sitting there on the corner waiting to be picked up by the next work gang. And
yeah,
there seemed to be a lot of that ready to go, and a lot of that, and then there was this whole thing about sort of like supers who get their powers drained out of their spinal fluids. And it just seemed like there was a lot of stuff there, all of which would have led to a much more interesting story. And every time they brought something up new, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. So this is where we're going. You know, he's going to end up being, you know, his mother's going to get kidnapped, or she's going to end up selling her spinal fluid, and it seemed to do this whole thing of, well, the typical short film to large film expansion problem, which is they have all these little ideas, which in a 10-minute short, in a 10-minute short, can be over and done with and thrown away, and you go, oh, that's a nice little teaser. Oh, that's a nice little teaser, and you're in and out. Whereas as soon as you have to start doing that, and you've only got the bare bones story, and you go, right, okay, there's a bare bones story. Now we have to think more into this corners of this world, and we just fill up blank spaces with ideas. And that was the problem I had. I mean, the thing that came to mind when I was watching it was the difference between, was it Lost in Joburg? Is it called Lost in Joburg?
You know what? I was just thinking of that.
And
it's the no, it was a thingy.
District 9.
District 9.
Yeah.
District 9. Yeah.
Yeah, because there was the short film Lost in Joburg, and then there was District 9, and District 9 literally had the same plot as Lost in Joburg. I think it's called Lost in Joburg. Someone correct me.
Yeah, it was. Alive in Joburg.
Alive in Joburg. There you go.
Yeah.
And the thing was that there was no extra foo-foo stuff just thrown in as world building. It was just like everything you saw in Alive in Joburg was in District 9 and filled out. Whereas this felt like they just went, shit, we got another 40 minutes. Let's think of other powers. Let's think of other things. Just keep throwing ideas at the wall. And it kind of almost felt like world building, random world building, rather than something coherent. Because...
You know what?
Yeah.
Where that sort of thing... well, I was just thinking the thing it does suffer from, and it's the same as any other superhero TV program that's not like Marvel or DC. You know, well, actually saying that, things like Mutant X, stuff like this, everybody has one power. That's it. You know, you don't get someone who's like bulletproof and can run faster than a car, or you know, somebody's got X-ray vision and can shoot flame out of their hands or anything like this. It's always got one power.
Right.
And that I find a little bit, you know, with these sort of thing.
Yeah.
To me,
it's just top trumps, really,
one
isn't it?
power, Phil. Dinosaur wrangling. One.
There were dinosaurs in the kitchen, Phil. People died.
Yeah.
Well, it turns them into Pokemon, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. It kind of, you know, oh, right, he's lightning. Oh.
I think in the context of this, though, where it kind of, I think it reminded me a little, very, very slightly of Kim Newman's Anno Dracula books.
Yes.
And in that takes the idea that at the end of Stoker's novel, Dracula wins, and he goes on to vampirize Queen Victoria, becomes the emperor of the British Empire, and all the vampires come out of the shadows and start taking place in society. And at first, vampires are these super powerful immortals, they're the undead. But once you've got nearly over half the population have all been turned, they're all vampires. Being a vampire means absolute shit, and most of them are useless wankers begging in the street.
Yeah.
You know, blood, so other people can get high and being a bit of a taste of being a vampire. I thought that was an interesting spin in this, that you have people got superpowers, but because there's a lot of them, it's not special.
Yeah.
Get on that bill. These are bloody useful.
He's bicycle repairman from Monty Python. Everybody's Superman except for this one bloke, and he's classed, you know, with no powers whatsoever.
But it becomes that thing that's for the key line from the first Incredibles movie. You know, if everyone has superpowers and if everyone's special, then that means no one will be. You know, that's that syndrome's thing, isn't it?
with all the X-Men and the 500 different ones around the comics and the films, it's kind of, what do you? Well, I do tricks with cars. Hang on, you Paul Daniels? Is that really a mutant power?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a joke, kind of. Oh, I can do a light show. I've got a costume. Yeah. Maybe going to techniques instead of crime fighting. I don't know. Just a suggestion.
Yeah. I'm the condiment king. I have all the different condiments at my hands.
I think it does short circuit that by so that so what? You got electric powers. Go do some welding.
yeah. Go read.
I wish there'd been more of, actually, because I think that is a fun and interesting concept, and kind of the actual crime drama they stuck with is kind of a nice bit of sci-fi to it, but a bit more sci-fi wouldn't have gone amiss. But again, I suppose there's potential in the series to do more, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, the fact that Netflix have bought it, which is presumably where all the Indiegogo Patreons aren't kind of going completely bananas and going, "Where's my 3.4 million quid gone?" I mean, I mean, I can see it being a series. What I think is, I do stick with Elton's point of view, which is kind of like, if it was going to be a series, be honest about it. If it was going to be a movie on its own, then be honest about it. Just don't do this kind of like half-assed. Look, here's a thing, but really it's a big setup for a TV series we're trying to sell in the background, because you do end up with this kind of unfulfilled promise of a world building, which is let down by, let's be honest, a frankly fairly weak source heist movie.
But there's so much you could build up in this world already.
Yeah.
And you could have had a bit more of the trafficking.
Yeah.
And the spinal tapping.
Yeah.
I was interested in that, but it was kind of blink and you miss it. Oh, by the way, here's some bags that we're after. And it just felt rushed. Even though they had plenty of time to do it, it just felt rushed. And then you also had the copper's daughter. And you don't really see her do anything, but you hear about it. And I like that. And I wanted more from that, but you're already 3/4 of the way through the movie, and then you're finding this out. You're like, oh, if you'd done that at the start, you could have built on that, and that could have been like a great sea line plot line.
Well, that was what I was going to say. That's the other thing. You sit there going, there's too many bits and pieces where you kind of go, well, hang on, a proper film, not concerned with trying to make it look like they've spent $2 million, but actually making a film that you would have had things like his father being shot, by the police, and the fact that his mum has to bring him up not hating the police, or he's got a chip on his shoulder. There's a whole bit about the main character and his relationship with his mother and the relationship with his missing father, who got shot trying to hold up a convenience store. Well, and let's not forget that his mum ends up working at a convenience store, and the son comes in and gets a bit leery with the manager. There's so much of that could have just been built upon on its own. I mean, that's the sort of shame of this. It's kind of like right there in front of you is the bare bones of a really solid, crime doesn't pay, good boy being pulled into a bad crowd story, and then you mix in superpowers in a world which is shunning them. And you could use it as an analogy for racism, an analogy for immigration, an analogy for, underclasses with more willingness to work than, the rich people who employ them. There's a million way people get exploited by the system, all this kind of stuff. There was literally so much there they could have done. And what it ended up doing is being boiled down into this soup of, now that you mention it and now we've been thinking about it, essentially a weak source TV pilot to just set up the world so that Stephen Amell can keep getting work You know, and I think that's the real shame of it. I was kind of sitting there willing it to be better. I think that's probably the best way of putting it. Just willing.
I think I was as well. There was some real nice touches in there. There really were. And I think if it was a bit thicker in the storyline, as in like there's a little bit more to get your teeth into, then I think I would have fully invested in it, because it wasn't. It didn't do too much super, but it did like the X-Men thing where I can kind of follow that. Sometimes it doesn't work for me, but this had the potential for me to really get into it. But like you say, Darren, like one person has one thing, one person has another thing.
Yeah.
Well, why can't the mum and like turn out to be like Jack out The Incredibles? Have 3 or 4 different things going on and
Exactly.
can't control it, sort of thing. It's just there was so much there, and it was just it didn't give me enough to hold my attention completely, that I really wanted to be suckered into it and really enjoy it.
I mean, okay then. So where would you take this world? I mean, let's have a. I mean, because obviously there's not really a hell of a lot to discuss about the film, I suppose. But if you were to do more to this, because it is clearly just a framework. I mean, how would you see it going forward? I mean, Jim, what about you? I mean, you seem to enjoy it for what it was, but what would you see? What would fill in the gaps and bulk up the story, so to speak, if you were to take a look at this?
What, for the movie or the TV or the poster?
Either, really. I mean, it's just more of a thought experiment, because I think the
TV show, I'd be tempted to leave well alone, because if one thing recent history has taught us, people wanting more of something because they think there's something interesting there often doesn't pan out very well.
This is true.
I mean, I think for this movie, I think for me, on reflection, and where it could be stronger, is that it needed to just really do a bit more plot spinning. I don't think necessarily putting more of the world in is the answer. I think what we need to do is just to change that pattern of, as you say, the standard heist double cross plot, which you could see coming. But you can. This story's been told before, but you can tell it a lot better, and you need character and plot twists, not necessarily going for the sci-fi goal, toolkit. I mean, for me, when it started, we go, they're getting drugs from the superpowers, and I think I've seen this before, because that's kind of the new super drug is. I think he's a bit cliche, and I was kind of actually quite relieved they didn't focus on that. That was just background. That was just part of the world they were in, and it wasn't like a major plot point, because kind of in the world they were in, they had set up where this has been going on for years anyway. You know what I mean? It's just there, and I thought that was a good way to handle it. But I kind of felt it just needed a few more twists in the second half, just to keep it spinning, rather than just feeling like it was just going through the sort of the standard sort of crime story. And you can. I mean, there's that thing. There's only so many original stories in the world, but if you can tell them well and just throw in the audience a couple of curveballs here and there, you can pull off a very cliched story, but make it interesting. Star Wars is the classic example of it.
Well, of course, yes. I mean,
clothes, but they were what amazing! Look, feel the quality of those clothes.
Yeah, those are fucking good clothes, I tell you. Yeah, well, okay then. Well, what about you then, Dal? I mean, you obviously really enjoyed it, but I mean,
I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there thinking, please don't be totally shit. Please don't be totally shit.
No,
and I got pleasantly surprised. But where I would take the series, I would possibly treat it like many years ago, George R. Martin did his own superhero series of books. And it was called Wild Cards. And that was like about a society where people suddenly started gaining superpowers. And the way they handled that is it was different stories from different people, and you had characters from a previous story maybe turn up in one of the other stories. So it would be different. It would be a different character every week at a different situation, but it would be within that universe. So you could have fun exploring that. You wouldn't have to go down one road. You could take it in many different directions. You know? So I'd possibly do it like that.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I mean, and as far as this film was concerned, what did you know, what would you do with that? I mean, is the film
with this one?
Yeah, I mean, away from the series, because I mean, obviously, it is. I don't know. I think we've all roughly, to a greater or lesser degree, agreed it's fairly weak source in certain areas. I mean,
yeah, it's it's one of those. It's like I said, it's like Underwater. It's one of those films as well. I'm glad I saw it. It's not it's not going to win any awards, but it had some interesting ideas in there, and I did like the fact that his mum, at the end of it, his mum doesn't survive. It isn't the girl that brings her back to life because she's suddenly like, well, look, this is the thing you don't know about my power. All I'm doing is I'm like a vacuum cleaner. I'm just sucking out the affliction and taking it upon myself. And then he has that thing at the end where it's like, no, I can't do this. And then he gets fucking sent to prison as well. So I like that about it. I like the fact that it wasn't all tied up nicely and everybody went away with a happy ending. It was like one person out of it that actually got a happy ending out of that, and that was the girl who was going through shit through most of it anyway.
Yeah.
So that pleased me about it. Whether it was the rest of it was weak sauce, it wasn't the strongest story.
No.
But like I say, it did have some nice stuff in it. The world building I did like. It does annoy me sometimes when they say, "Oh, power's turned up 5 minutes ago." This had a proper grounding. Their society has evolved from that point where the powers did turn up, and it's like the migrant workers. A bit like over here with like the Windrush generation, where they were brought in to do the work. They helped build the city, and then the treatment they got afterwards. They came over with the best intentions. They joined in, they did what they needed to, and look how they got treated in the end. In fact, look how they got treated while they were here.
Look how they're getting treated now. But
yeah, exactly, right. It's that kind of thing. As you say, it is an analogy for anything like that. You could put any label you want on it. You could see it as a analogy of just about anything like that, of race, of the treatment of what people would call consider an underclass, that sort of thing. We've used you for what we want. Now, please disappear, go away. We don't need you now.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still here, right?
Yeah, bollocks. Let's criminalise them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just they're they're an eyesore. Pretty much like things like the Vietnam veterans, that sort of thing. They gave their life for their country, literally giving their life for their country, or virtually giving it, and coming home with bits missing, and no end of mental illness and whatever. And look how they got treated in the end. They didn't get treated with respect. They got treated quite badly.
Yeah. And what about you, Elton? I mean, what would you do with it? I mean,
well, I think I would have. If you concentrate on the drug itself from the Spinal Tap thing, then you're kind of going down the RoboCop 2 kind of storyline. You don't want to go down that way. I would more head towards like the healer side of things with the with the trafficking of of the powers themselves. And that guy who was using that healer all the time, you could have like a system of where they use the healer to the point where they're corrupted and then die, and so they need another one. And so you got that whole system of the trafficking of different supers to different people as well. Then you could also had like the heist built around it with as your main like feed through, but also the copper and his story. And you could have like a yin yang type of story at the end where someone does win, but someone dreadfully loses as well. And you almost had that, but it just didn't kind of want to risk it. Is it possible if they had have risked it and gone down a route where someone lost incredibly? I know that the guy lost his mum, etc., but he's kind of in jail waiting for the term to die out. But you could have had someone really lose it, and then that would have been like a full stop. And they didn't want to risk it just in case that was that was a nice story. I don't need to see the series after.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it really is just treading around saying, look, we're giving you something nice. And they did. Look, it was all right. It was fine. I've got no problems in it. But it was just all right. It didn't really want to pin its colours on its mast and show exactly what it could do and exactly what it wanted to do. Like you say, it could be restricted by budget. And that's all well and good. Sometimes you have to give and take with that sort of scenario. But if it didn't really commit to anything. It knew it wanted it to be a heist, and that was kind of easy to do. And if they wrapped up that story, then there's our story. But there was no other commitment anywhere in the world. It just felt like the heist is the main story, so we have to commit to that, and then that's it. Anything else is just fluff. It's good fluff, but it's just fluff, and it just didn't have any meat on it. They had so many things they could have done. But going on to like the effects, and the one I did like was the robots themselves. I know they used them sparingly, which is nice. And it did remind me of the new RoboCop that they put out a couple of years ago with like the drones flying around and stuff.
Don't know what you're talking about. Doesn't exist, does it?
No, does it not?
No.
Does it not?
As far as I'm aware, I think it's from that same mythical universe that had a fourth Indiana Jones movie.
Right. Okay. Well, imagine they did like RoboCop again, and they just like put drones in there.
Oh.
That's what they've done.
Elton. Why would they do such a foolish thing?
There were nice touches. I quite like the robot. What they call them, angels. They're dropping
Guardians.
angels. Guardians. That was it. Yeah, and I like the idea of that, and I thought they looked rather cool as well. I thought they moved quite well, and I liked that they didn't kind of name them and give them like, there's a Guardian Dave, and there's Guardian Steve, and Guardian Suzanne. It was just a tool to use, and there was no real attachment to that, and so it was just part of their kit, and I liked that because it was just so simple. When they got knocked down and taken out, it was just, okay, fine, that guy can do it now, it's fine. But it's just, I don't know, I'm trying to, look, I had fun for an hour and a half on it, but it just wasn't my thing, and there was a lot of weak sauce that annoyed me about it. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is.
That's fair enough.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it? We're not supposed to all have the same bloody opinion. Otherwise, what's the point in having a review show with 4 hosts?
Exactly, yes.
Yes, we've all agreed. Have we all agreed? Agreed. Right, fine, let's all go home. I mean,
but you guys know I don't really like the superhero stuff, and this wasn't really superhero stuff. This was more superpower stuff. It was all about the powers rather than the actual heroes themselves, which I like it for that. If it was about, Electric Man and Hot Hands Woman and stuff like that, then that would lose me. But it didn't lose me because of that. It lost me because of other things. By the way, that lady who could like melt stuff, that was cool. I thought that was really cool, especially when she did like the handcuffs as well. Just lean on them. Thank you very much. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Oh, she took the head off that robot as well, just by going up, putting her hand around its throat and just squeezing.
Yeah,
that bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. I mean, there was, like I say, there was cool bits, and I can't say with my hand on my heart that I didn't sit there and watch it from start to finish and sort of go, I didn't sort of go, oh, that was rubbish. I just sort of came away, went, and sort of thing. I mean, the problem I have, and I think, at risk of repeating myself from earlier, I think the problem I have and what I would have liked is that they think into the corners of this world rather than chuck more stuff at it. And that was the problem. It was like, take the healers, for example. Just that one idea that there are multiple healers and they're all over the place because, we've got a rating system and we've got names for these types, this, that, and the other. What does that do to an America which has a paid health service? Just that one idea. Straight away, you've got, their corporately funded health service, where you have to pay the insurance companies. That one thing of having people, not just one person, but multiple people that in the country that you could just go up and go, here, I'll give you 50 quid. Can you just refix my bones?
Yeah, it can make them public enemy number one.
Exactly.
For that kind of thing,
Exactly.
It's well, look at how free healthcare gets kind of treated in the US. How that got
that's communism, son.
Yeah, exactly. Right. There's like a lot of insurance companies worried that well, if this takes off, then where's our cut?
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Just any one of those ideas would have made a better and more interesting story than just Electric Man has a sick mum and falls in with a crowd of just standard heist members. I literally any of them. I mean, okay, so you got a mind reader. One guy's a mind reader. Straight away. Okay, so why don't we have mind readers in the police force? There's that guy who can suck up bullets, to almost an incredible degree. Why?
I like the Juggernaut guy.
Yeah, but it's like, if, 1 minute you're telling us there's hundreds of these things all over the place, and next minute you're telling us that the government and all these corporations wouldn't exploit them to an absolutely obscene degree. It's just like, how many bodyguards would walk around completely impervious to bullets? How many policemen would employ a precog mind reader, keeping them on a drug that keeps them alive, so they're kept in sort of enslaved to the job that they are best suited for?
Well, I suppose what you could say where that's concerned, it's what has happened with these individuals, because you see people like that shopkeeper who like looks at people with powers warily, right? The one that, what if there is this whole thing of, it doesn't matter if they're talented, the fear is out there of these people, so it doesn't matter what they can do. Do the public feel, does normal human bloke feel as though he can trust somebody?
But that's my point. That is exactly my point. You've got the world is presented in a way that's kind of like, this stuff happened. There's these people and and then it just kind of moves on. And while that's lovely for most world building, because that does do the Alien thing, the Blade Runner thing, you get the bare minimum. You're dropped into a world, and you then have a story take place in that world with no excuses or reasons or rhymes. Just, this is the story in this universe. Suck it up, buttercup, if you don't understand it. That I get, but the problem is that in a movie like this one, where it's doing its damnedest to show you every single thing and idea and throwing everything at the screen, you suddenly get presented with the idea, well, you can either go with, as Jim said, you can either go with a fairly generic heist movie, or you can go, well, what would just one of these powers really do to this country if it had these people wandering around and are well known? You can't tell me that it just turns into a police state, because that's the most bog standard, basic, low level sci-fi dystopia. The government says no, end of. That's just silly.
Well, you don't really know if that kind of thing goes on behind closed doors anyway.
No,
right?
but that's my point. You've given us a massive smorgasbord of ideas in the first 15 minutes, and then gone, nah, forget that. Here's a robbery. Here's heat 0.5 with extra water. It's just like that was the thing I constantly kind of kept butting up against. There was so much stuff where I wanted to just leave that twat behind, constantly learning his powers with his master, telekinetic. I mean, the whole thing with Stephen Amell's telekinesis was kind of, 1 minute he's doing sort of, I don't know, waves of power out of his fingers. Next minute he's lifting up multiple things. And it's like, well, if you can do that, then why are we having this standard CW TV show punch-up with Mr. Impervious? Why doesn't telekinetic bloke just pick him up and fold him into a tiny ball?
Well, you could see he was struggling to stop him from moving as it is. So obviously his powers, fine, picking up a couple of light bulbs, not a problem. But then you've got the force of this guy coming at him who's, weighs a bit more. Maybe Stephen Amell's powers aren't that particularly strong. He didn't go lifting up whole trucks or anything. They kind of, his powers didn't change to suit the plot as it does in some things, where somebody suddenly someone's more powerful, they can do this, and then comes to the final fight and apparently that is forgotten about and suddenly they're not that powerful. His powers were like, he could like rip a gun out in someone's hand or something like that, maybe, but he never once went over the top of it. You never see him do anything
apart from hold down two robots.
Yeah, he did those, but he was struggling with them as well.
Okay. I mean, this is all kind of swerving away from the main point, though, which is essentially, you've got these ideas. Why waste them on a heist movie, and a not particularly well done one? Because you could see that fucking double cross coming from about, well, I don't know, from the other room. I was in the kitchen making a cup of tea, and I could see that coming, and it was just like, wow. Oh, he's shocked. He's surprised. He's just turned up and said to his mate, "Oh, I'm taking over your business, but I'll do this work for you." Oh, what a shocker. He sent all of his men along with us. Why has he done that? Oh, I am shocked. Curse you and your almost grimly inevitable betrayal. But anyway. So, yeah, I just came away just feeling like I'd wished I'd seen more of everything else but the story that was actually in the middle of the world. And also, one other thing, can I just say, if you've got a world full of superheroes and super criminals, and you're supposed to be moving around some really super expensive, ultra expensive drug, why do it in a fucking box fan when you've got drones literally flying overhead?
Yeah, and what was it with the no-fly zone?
Because there were
I didn't understand that.
Because there were towers, in which case, don't drive through the towers. Drive round the no-fly zone.
Fly higher.
Yeah. Or maybe have those robots running up alongside. Or maybe just put the tiny, tiny briefcase on one of those fucking drones, send it up 37,000 feet, fly it 10 yards, drop back down to its destination and not bother with a truck.
Give it to Amazon. They'll do it.
Yeah, they'll do it.
That was one of the things that I took from it as well that kind of jarred me. The heist bit where they're like, oh, let's set out construction. Oh no, there's roadworks. We have to go this way. We're diverted again. How many times have we seen that? 1 million times. And then, oh no, the truckers blocked the road. Hey, jackass, get out the road. Otherwise, I'll have to arrest you. I'll get out the car. Oh, come on.
Make me get out the car.
Have none of these cops ever seen another film? Because this happens in every single film. Come on.
Yeah, but the guy with the van who did the roadworks, he had a high-vis jacket on, so there we go.
Ah, fool.
You've never seen that in a film.
Away.
They don't wear high-vis jackets like that in any other film. So, twist. There you go.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean...
Eat your heart out, Charlie Brooker.
Has anyone got anything additional to say about this film? Because I'll be honest with you, I am struggling to find things to actually discuss about it.
No, I'm good. Thank you very much.
Jim?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
Darren? Okay. So...
Yeah, I'm...
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, like I say, it was a diverting enough waste of time, and I don't resent seeing it. I'm glad I have, but I won't be seeing it again. I'm not entirely sure I'd be watching a TV show of it. But anyway, so that was Code 8. Have you seen it? Do you have any thoughts on it? Is anything we've said ring any bells? Well, if it does, put it in a little email, send it over to feedback@blackdogpodcast.com, or go on to our blackdogpodcast.com webpage and go through the contact us page and send us an email that way. And maybe we'll talk about it next week. So, before we get on to saying goodbye and having everyone promote their wares, let's tell you what we're going to have next week. Next week is I'm trying to work out what films we were going to watch, and this one I've seen once before, but a very long time ago, and I really enjoyed it. And one of the things that Jim off air reminded us was one of the things we were trying to do with this Black Dog was to try it where possible to bring back a slightly more cheerful tone. We've kind of done it. We're getting there, but so I thought, well, I had a number of films that I had on a list, and I went through with the guys, and we were gonna have a couple of them, but they may still end up on the docket. But one came up, and it kind of fit the bill for keeping slightly upbeat, a bit more cheerful in these dark and locked in times, and this is my choice this week. So I went for it. It's going to be on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime, but apparently it's only on for a limited amount of time before it comes off. So hopefully it will still be around by at least next week. And it is Taika Waititi's Hunt for the Wilder People. So, have you gentlemen seen this film before? Jim?
No.
Darren? No. Okay. Jim?
No.
I have, yes, yeah.
You have, yes. Have you? And what did you think of it?
I loved it.
Lovely. Cool. Okay. And you're looking forward to seeing it again, presumably?
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. What about you, Elton?
Nope, never seen it.
Never seen it before. Okie dokie. Well, like I see it ages and ages and ages ago. And I really enjoyed it. I found it a lovely film, and I hope that you guys out there will do too. So if you go on to Amazon Prime, it's Taika Waititi's Hunt for the Wilder People, starring Sam Neill in a almost humongous beard, and Waititi himself turns up in a cameo, so that's quite cool. And there you go. I won't tell you any more than that in case you do watch it. But yeah, there you go. So we will get to that next week. But now we must make our way into the wastelands of Coronaville. And but before we do, Jim, would you like to tell everyone where we can find your wares, sir?
You can find all my writings and all the podcasts I do at hypnagorianother.com. Tomorrow I'm dropping a Commentary Club episode looking at the Archbishop, the third episode of the original Black Adder.
Nice.
The following we're doing Mars Attacks.
Nice.
This week's main show I'll be going back to talking about the origins and the legacy of the colour out of space. And following that up, looking at I think the 5 film adaptations as well. So that's going to run over a couple of weeks.
Nice.
How many so far? But it's all been recorded, and I'm just looking at the time going, bloody hell.
Nice. And Elton, what about you, sir?
You can catch me over at rogue2media.com, where we have the Grand Prix podcast, where we're talking about no racing whatsoever, but still putting out shows. Shonky Lab, which is going to have a new episode come Friday/Saturday-ish about UFOs, because of all the new activity that has been reported. And what's the other one? Into the Expanse as well. We're recording tomorrow night on that. So, head over there and grab all that stuff.
Lovely. And what about you, Mr. Barnard? How's your cookbook coming along?
It will be expanding shortly. I'm trying to do more stuff. I'm trying to get a little bit more experimental, shall we say?
Yeah. Darren's book, Roughage and the Older Gentleman, will be out next month.
That is a fucking good title. I was actually thinking, what can I call this? Thank you for that, mate. I'm not paying you anything.
No,
but
it's okay.
I'll have that.
I'm not eating anything you're making out of it either, trust me. But I will insist on a free copy. Right, so there you go. And you can see all my artwork on artstation.com and instagram.com/cartoonbeardy in both cases. So, other than that, join us on Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/blackdogpodcast. And that's it. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
No problem.
And we shall see you all next week for Hunt for the Wilder People. Until then, take care. We'll see you all soon. Tatty bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Oh, bollocks to it.